Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the next version of Marketers on the Move. And today I've got a unique treat for you. This guy is a real character. There's no doubt about it. And I am delighted and proud to introduce you to Pat Kern. Hello, Pat. How are you?
Hey, Peter. How are you today?
I'm good, mate. And look, I am excited to do this interview with you because I mean, you've been there and done that, and I want people to know a little bit more about Pat Kern because to be quite frank with you, I mentioned you're a character, but you're more than that. You're a one genuine guy, okay? And I think it's someone that people can reach out to and feel comfortable with because when they talk to you, they're going to get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, okay?
True.
So, because I'm getting old and stupid, I want to read your bio if you don't mind, because I can't remember it all, okay?
Oh, very well. Go ahead.
Pat Kern, all right? Thanks, Pat. Pat Kern, he grew up in Vancouver, and there were 7 kids with 1 bathroom, so she was fairly competitive right from the word go. He went to sea. He went to sea when he was 17. He's a Vietnam vet. He's got PTSD. He worked on an ocean-going tug and a barge as a mate and a captain, and it was really hard work. He did it for many years. There was a lot of stress on him and also on his family. He's now retired from all the sea work and works as a part-time maintenance man at a health club. Did I get that about right, Pat?
Yeah, very true, Peter.
Okay.
It was quite an ordeal going to sea.
Well, let me ask you some questions about that, all right, without getting too personal, because I want people to get to know Pat and get to be able to feel comfortable talking to you, all right?
Very
so
well.
Tell me, how did you get to where you are today?
That's a good question. Where I'm at today, it's been hard work. I struggled a lot. You know, father taught all of us boys, hard work will get you where you want to be. And we just grew up with seven kids, with that 1 bathroom. And he taught us respect a lot, just respect people and just be a respectful person. And that was going to get you a very far way. He taught us a lot of things about cars, but when we put our heads inside, when he pulled up the hood and looked inside the engine, I went, I don't want to do this. I took off and went and played with the neighbors. So I was always off and running. But where I'm at today is due to what our father put into us boys, of hard work and just keep positive on things. Life will get better.
Okay. So, I mean, you believe in yourself. That obviously, right? But you've also worked hard all your life, right? Right from the word go, not just in the last few years, all your life.
All my life since Mom took us to the berry fields.
What does that mean?
When we were young kids.
Tell me more.
Mom took us to the berry fields to pick strawberries, raspberries.
Okay.
Picking apples, cherries. When we were young kids, we had to work. We had to make our own money for school. Buy our school gear.
Okay. So, in other words, your family really battled at that point, eh?
Yeah. Dad. He was worked in a auto store. He started out pushing a broom and came up to be general manager at a supply company, auto company there in Vancouver, and raising 7 kids. It was a struggle. He had to take a second job on the weekend just to get us by. But mom took us into the berry fields to help out.
Right. Okay.
So.
Let me ask you, I don't want to get too personal here, but I want people to actually understand you a little bit more, okay? So what I want to ask you is about I mean, you mentioned before that you're in the Navy and you also worked on the tugboats and the barges. I mean, Pat, there must have been some very difficult times you had there because you said it was hard work and a lot of stress on you and your families. So can you share something about that?
I was a bosun in the Navy, and you know, I thought being on a aircraft carrier would be very easy, light duty. I, I was I was definitely wrong on that standpoint because we had to do a lot of unwrapping, bringing on bombs, and that's a lot of hard work. Standing lifeboat watches, uh, watching the we were standing by on a lifeboat, and the plane went down, and so they called us because we were standing in the lifeboat watch. And when they called us to get the lifeboat ready, we heard the scraping of the plane coming down the hall. Looked down. The other people got out. You can see one guy struggling, trying to get out, and he couldn't get out. And just watched this young kid, probably in his late 20s, right in there, right in front of the eyes, went down. See, there's about 3 or 4 different instances kind of like that within a 3-month span in that
Pat.
time.
Oh,
So we went to the Mauritius Islands to
yep.
help them out, down South Africa on a little island, and to help them out putting their island, their villages back together, going through the rice fields, picking up people. You
Yeah.
know, when you're 18 years old, 17, 18, that's memories you will never ever get rid of. So going on, then when I got out of the Navy, I started to work on tugs, and working on tugs, I found out it suppressed everything what I'd seen and did in the Navy, suppressed
Right.
everything because I had to watch out for 6 other people on the tug to make sure they were safe.
Right.
When we took off, and that job there it was a very stressful job, and it just got. But I enjoyed it. I totally enjoyed it. People talk about isolation. Get on a tugboat and be out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
To me,
And,
that's
and, and, and for how long at a time would you be out there on the tugs, Pat?
uh, it it varies. I would stay out for 90 days or better.
90 days?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking maybe 24 hours. 90 days. Wow.
Yeah, 90 days I would come home, and within maybe 2 days, 3 days, they would call me and say, "Hey, we need a mate up on a tug up in Alaska. Can you make it?" I went, okay. And my wife looked at me one day, said, "You just can't say no."
Hmm.
I said, very true, very true. And I guess that mentality was brought on growing up as a young lad of seven kids.
Yeah.
You know,
And with a father who told you to work hard, right?
yeah,
It was in your system, right?
exactly. Yeah, my mom worked. Both of them worked very hard, and so it wasn't. When you're in remote areas working, you bring a barge into a beach, and all of a sudden you got this 200-foot barge you got to offload into this remote village in Alaska. You only got so much time, so you're just going for, 48 hours straight without resting. The only time you sit down, to have something quick to eat and back off, because there's only be 4 of us offloading this barge.
Mm. So I'm starting to really understand and get a picture. I mean, it was not just hard work, but a lot of stress. But when
Yeah.
your wife said you can't say no, obviously it was getting hard on her and the family as well. Is that right?
Yes, it was,
Okay.
and I didn't realize that.
Okay. All right. Tell me something. You mentioned, I mentioned, because you shared it with me, that you got PTSD. Do you mind me asking what are you doing about that? What are you doing for your PTSD?
I, when I found out, that I had PTSD, uh, I, they wanted me to take medication, prescription medication. And I started to, and I loved it. The painkiller, I totally enjoyed it, but I knew it wasn't good for my system. It was changing my attitude.
Right.
And I always been around, ever since I was 15, always been around the cannabis plant. I knew about cannabis, and this friend told me about it. And so I started to take the CBDs and got off the pain medication, got rid of all that other crap that they were trying to force into me. And I saw to this day, I love my CBDs to the max.
Peace, love, and CBD. Love it, Pat. Love it. So tell me something. That leads to my last question. And thank you for sharing your valuable time with me. Since retirement, okay, from the tugs and everything else, right? I mentioned about working as a part-time maintenance man, but you mentioned it's only part-time. So what else are you doing right now?
What else am I doing? I work for this company on social media, helping them out with their products, the same products that I use, and it's fun. I like doing working on social media on Facebook, LinkedIn and Instagram, and just meeting people from around the world on social media is it's a great thing for me because I meet new friends day in and day out.
Mm. And you are memorable. People will never forget if they meet you. That's for sure, right? And really, without getting into the weeds of what you do, obviously, you did mention that, and thank you for sharing and being so transparent. But you did mention that with the PTSD and the stress, etc., that the CBD oils are helping you, right? So I would assume that if people are interested in that, you'd be quite happy for them to reach out to you. Is that right?
Yes, I would be, because if the CBD industry is helping, the CBD is helping a lot of people through a lot of different struggles through their own lives.
Right.
Just not mine. They just help them through a lot of different things they're going through in their lives. I just like to get people healthy, keeping a positive attitude in people's lives, and just put a little cheer in these times.
Yeah, it's good to hear. But thinking about a little bit of cheer, tell me something so people watching this can see whether it's them. Obviously, if they have a stress problem or PTSD, they should be talking to you, right? But what else? What are the ailments that people have that maybe they could be worthwhile reaching out and talking to you?
Well, you can have, especially if people work out at the gyms like I do, they get their muscle sores, or just as we grow older in life, our knees start aching, our joints start hurting.
I can relate with that.
And me too. And the CBD cream, when you put it on, it just soothes it and relaxes the joints.
Okay. Well, we better make it clear to people that you're not a doctor, right?
Exactly. Yes, I'm not a doctor. Yes, I'm not.
Yeah, you're not a doctor, but by the same token, you are happy to talk about the products that you have and how it's helped you. Is that right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, if
I'm
that's
going
the
for
case,
my own personal use.
okay, because that's important. If you are prepared to share what it's done for you to people, then they're in a better position to understand whether it's really an option they should think about, right?
Correct.
Now, if that's the case, then let me just finish up the valuable time with you, Pat, by saying, how do people contact you? How do they go about trying to reach you?
They can message me through Facebook at
Yeah,
Patrick Kern,
yeah.
or they can send me an email through barge230@gmail.com.
Hang on, barge230@gmail.com.
Correct.
Yes?
Hey, you got your kid in back of you.
Yeah, sorry, got my granddaughters in the road. Beg your pardon.
Right on.
So let me think. We got Facebook, and they can contact you at barge230@gmail.com, right? And I
Yes.
presume also you mentioned you're on LinkedIn and Instagram, right?
Yes, sir. My Instagram, if they want to check it out, is PDSS Marketing.
PDSS Marketing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And LinkedIn is Patrick Kern.
Pat or
One
Patrick?
thing, Patrick Kern, Kern.
Yeah, but it's
One thing I
Patrick, not
learned,
Pat, right?
yeah, Pat, or yeah, I think it's Patrick.
Okay. But Facebook, I think it's Pat. Pat
Yeah.
Kern. Okay.
One thing I found out about social media is so cool. When you're on these different platforms, what I was told by people like you and other, keep everything congruent
Mm-hmm.
to who you really are.
Mm,
So,
true. Pat, thank you.
Peter,
Thank you for
thank you.
sharing. No, thank you for sharing a bit about Pat Kern, okay? And all I'd like to do is to wrap up the time I've had with you by saying, for people who have went through anything like Pat's gone through, if you're a Vietnam veteran, for example, if you've got PTSD, if you've got any other of the aches and stresses and pains that Pat referred to, I would highly, highly recommend them reaching out to you, because you're one of the people that I found in my life who was totally trustworthy. And I could not think of a better way to recommend you than that. So I didn't mean to make you embarrassed.
I've been embarrassed before, Peter. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Okay, very much, Pat.
Thank you. Have a good one.